Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Scarlets Fever with me, Lee G. Joining me as always is Big M and Hugh Flatcap, complete with Flatcap this week. Gentlemen, how are we?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm good, Hugh. You, how are? Because
I'm good also. Looking forward to getting stuck into this one.
So, just for listeners, like information and background, we've obviously got WhatsApp groups and messenger groups and all of that kind of stuff. And Hugh was not impressed at the end of I think it's safe to say Hugh was not impressed at the end of the game on Saturday and all day Sunday and pretty much most of today. So...
I was walking around Lidl's on Sunday morning with the trolley. I must have just looked like a zombie. I was just playing that match through again in my head, just like, what happens? Well, I know what happens, and we'll talk about it. But yeah.
Okay, so game aside, then, how's your week been? How's life been, Mark? How has your week been?
Rather convoluted. We're in the process of moving. We've left the old house, but the new house isn't ready, so we're stuck in a hotel. So 7 of us in one big hotel room is fun. And I mean really, really proper fun, 5 kids, no privacy, teenage girl in with that as well. So picture it yourself.
That's insane. I struggle with one teenage girl and 4 bedrooms because my boys are away, obviously. So yeah, teenage girls are just a completely different kettle of fish.
Oh yeah.
Do you have this thing, right, where she'll get ready for school in the morning and I'll have to make sure the skirt is the right length? Do you know what I mean? That I'm sure that skirt should be a couple of inches longer, young lady.
And yeah, then it's always the same.
By the time she comes home from school, it's shrunk again. And I'm like, no, that's not the way we do things. The skirt has a certain level at which it should be, respectable.
Yeah, you can't control them. You should know that by now. I mean, only having the one girl yourself is going to be quite hard. But I've got a bit of learning to do because my teenage girl is the oldest. I've got 3 littler girls that are coming up behind her. So what mistakes I make here, hopefully I'm going to learn for the better. With a tear in my eye.
That's just asking for punishment, mate. That's.
They were attempts at boys.
What about you, Hugh? How's your week been, mate?
All the teams lost and all the games were boring is the phrase, not just in rugby but in all the other sports as well. So looking forward to talking about it out of the way, to be honest.
Okay, so
look forward to maybe not next week, maybe the week after.
Tell us about the flat cap. Which cap is this?
This is just the blue one again. This is the main one.
The main one. Okay, I think we're gonna have to start giving them names, mate, just so we know which flat cap.
I've only got 3. I've got the blue one, the grey one, and the Scarlets one.
Yeah, but Christmas is coming, and if you've been a good boy, Santa may deliver another flat cap.
I do need a black one that isn't my Scarlets one.
See, always good to drop hints now. It's always good. Anyway, my week's been crap as well. I actually had to do an open uni assignment. So I spent all of the weekend trying to watch rugby and do an assignment at the same time. And I finally got it in. It was only 1,200 words, but I got it in. And
it's 20 minutes work, man.
It's not. It was really awkward stuff. I had to do an assessment of a study, and the study's like 10 pages long, and you're meant to condense that into 1,200 words. You're meant to critique the study. I go, well, can't I do some drawings instead? It'd be much easier. Apparently, that's not university level. So there we go.
When I did my master's part-time last year now, I had regular assignments that were like 5,000-6,000 words, and when it finished, when I had it all handed in after I did my dissertation, I had a hell of a time doing my dissertation. It was so stressful. I still now, even at weekends, sometimes go, I should be writing. I should be doing. And like, no, I don't have an assessment. I don't have something to be handed in on Monday. But it feels like I should. So it takes ages to get over the feeling of I should be doing my homework right now.
Well,
even when you have no homework.
Even when you have
an adult now.
Because you're a big boy. So later in the year, I will be doing my dissertation, and my dissertation will be to do with concussion. Well, the effects of concussion on rugby players and things like that. So I shall be inviting listeners to partake in my study later in the year. Anyway, so let's crack on with some rugby stuff before Hugh bursts. So we said we're going to move the community game stuff to the front of the program just to make sure everybody learns it. So your threads, people are loving your threads, Matt. People are loving the whoop whoop. Yeah. So so let's do community game. Go on, you do East of the West first. Then go on, you do your rundown of those.
East of the West, the best part, obviously. We start off in the Premiership. What were you shaking your head for?
West is best, and Westerer is besterer.
Nah. We start in the Premiership. Big clash. Llandovery with Pontypool. Llandovery come out on top, 37-21.
Hooray!
I think they're gonna be good for the title now. They got one more big one coming up in 2 weeks.
That's re-established the natural order, hasn't it? Because all the Newport and Pooler were starting to get ideas above their station, and now he's put pay to that.
I know, one blip against Ebbw Vale, and I think, we're going to take over. No chance.
Yeah.
Next game up, Carmarthen Quins travelled north to RGC, took a bit of a thumping, 38 points to 12. Quins just can't seem to buy a win at the minute. I don't know what's going on with them.
It's all gone wrong, hasn't it?
Maybe they've checked out because they're going in the new league thing.
Yeah, maybe. So straight on through to just results now. So we'll go Championship West. Narberth beat Llangennech 44-15 at home. Wow. From reports, what a game. Despite the scoreline, it was highly contested. Fair play to Narberth, 100%. Keep going. Division 1 West.
Whooped your ass.
Cynan beat Wellinville 44-5. Bidwelly beat Hendy 27-19. And Llanelli Wanderers another 100%, 33-11 at home to Buryport. Down into 1 West Central. And the only game we got here, as always, Bryn Aman at home to Skirwin, 28-25 winners. And I can't tell you how happy that makes me. Bryn Aman second from bottom. Skirwin second from top. Awesome. Just it makes you love the game. Anyone can win. It's awesome. I love it. Division 2 West, Lampeter beat Fishguard 31-7. Lacha beat Ponteberem 21-15. Ponteberem were on course for another win. They were leading at half time, but just let it slip. St. Clair's with quite a scary win, 65-0 over Aman United. And then Tenby beat Nancaredig 32-20. All the hand signs coming from Lee. Nice one, but Division 2 cap at the third time of asking, Ticroys finally played Hoylequer at home, but Hoylequer won 30 points to 25. So, unlucky Ticroys, better off in the league. Division 3 West B, we got Binya lost 14-31 to Llandilo at home. New Dock Stars and Kevin Nathan was postponed. Penygroes lost 7-30 to Furness. Trimsaran, surely that's the wrong way around. I think that result's the wrong way around, is it? Never mind. I'll skip that one because that does not look right to me. Tumble. No, that. Someone swapped them. Who's done it? Who's bugging me up, boys?
You did this, mate. I just don't blame us because you were pissed doing your scores.
I think these are the right way round. Trimsaran beat Llandibby 34-7 and Tumble beat Tregaron 79-14. That's the way I think they should be. Someone has been messing with my spreadsheet and I am not happy, boys. There was one more game. Llangara were playing Betos at home. it was 26-0 to Betos at 56 minutes, and the game was abandoned. I'm still unclear on exactly what happened, but hope all is well for everyone concerned. The last senior game, then we got Division 5 West Central. Pontiates v Cumbrac was postponed, and Rickos beat Pantafanan 22-0. And unlike last week, we're going to go through the youth games because we love a bit of youth rugby. Love all rugby
about this.
Week. So we go straight into the Youth Bowl. Cwmbran beat Pennebank 37-18. Kidwelly and Crymych was postponed. I haven't got a date for the rearrangement, but should be coming soon. Narberth beat Rydfelin away 8-7. Rill beat Fishguard at home 22-21. Why is that coming on there? St Clair's beat Mumbles 28-22 into the youth plate. Llangennech travelled to Croesau and won 24-22. Carmarthen Athletic went to Llanharan, won 43-12. And Temby lost 13 points to 20 to Carmarthen Quins. Oh, poor Temby. Sorry, I had to.
Right, boys, you're only 18. Give them a break, man.
Llandilo beat Blackwood away 24-13. Lampeter 25, Biltwell 17. Pembroke 18, Bethesda 14. Tumble 11 and Rubina 10. So a lot of wins for our contingent in the Youth Cup Plate and Bowl. So fingers crossed next round we'll have a few more victories and a few more local clashes, because it's always good to get some local games at youth level. May get a bit of interest from the crowds and the pubs. Get them in. On to fixtures for next week. No game for Llandovery in the Premiership. Carmarthen Quins host Merthyr. Championship West, we got Ammanford at home to Narberth. Not looking forward to that one, especially after Narberth's recent result. Llangennech host Ystadell. Buryport at home to Pencloud in Division 1 West. Fellinvall at home to Aberystwyth. Gowerton home to Llanelli Wanderers. Whitland host Kidwelly. Henley host Gysainon. Into 1 West Central. Brynaman are away to Birchgrove. Back up the page. This is taking longer and longer every week, I swear. I did at home to Mumbles. Carmarthen Athletic at home to Lampeter. Nancaredig at home to Croes. Ponteberem at home to St Clair's. Into 3 West B. Cefneithin at home to Tumble. Furness host New Dock Stars. Llandilo host Penygroes. Llandibby at home to Binia. Tregaron at home to Llangadog. Last ones, Division 5 West Central. Pantafanan at home to Pennebank. Yay, Derby. And Seven Sisters at home to Pontiates. And that's it for the east of Carmarthen, for east of the Scarlets region.
Cool.
I only listened to that to find out what happened to New Dock Stars, and they got their game postponed.
You were looking forward to that bit as well. You were all excited.
Yeah.
Right, so I'll quickly run down this and try and avoid repetition. So, Championship
Impossible.
West. Yeah, Crymych beat Maesteg Quins 33-24. Narberth won 44-15 at home against Llangennech. Newcastle Emlyn lost 24-23 away in Ystadell. Fixtures for this weekend: Ammanford host Narberth, Newcastle Emlyn host Trebanos, Tata Steel host Crymych. In that one, Division 1 West, Whitland got spanked by One Eyelid 52-17. Aberystwyth game was called off for cup reasons. Gowerton were in a cup. And fixtures this weekend: Fellinvall host Aberystwyth, Whitland host Kidwelly. So Whitland can rack up another loss there. Division 2 West, Lampeter 31, Fishguard 7, Mumbles 43, Milford 7, St Clair's 65, Amman United 0, Temby 32, Nancaredig 20. This weekend, Fishguard host Lucha, Milford and Temby. That's going to be a nice one. Ponteberem host St Clair's on that one. And 3 West A. Haverford West beat Langham 36-10. Apparently no punch-ups, but that might be no punch-ups by Haverford West Langham standards.
Nobody wrote it down.
Nobody wrote it down. There was no evidence. Yeah. Larne 15, Cardigan 19, Llanybother lost 68-0 to Aberaeron. Pembroke lost 14-24 to Neyland, and St David's beat Quins 36-17. Fixtures for this weekend: Aberaeron host Aberaeron host Haverfordwest. Cardigan host the Quins, Langham host Larne, Neyland host Llanybother, and Pembroke host St David's. And that is the community rundown done. Gordon Bennett. There's no easy way of doing it, is there? No easy way of doing it.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is. Right. Okay, Hugh. Let's have some magic numbers then, my friend. Let's have some interesting facts from the weekend.
So it's not from the weekend, but I've been doing some research for my next thread, which I'm hoping is going to be out on Thursday. It's about Welsh rugby again, so if it goes down anything like the last one I did about Welsh rugby, then I know I'm going to ruffle some feathers. But I'm looking at attendances for the regions because that's a hot topic at the moment, and looking at the history of the attendances. And I was looking at the Ospreys attendances, and I cannot help but notice that the year after the Scarlets won the league, most recent, Ospreys attendance dropped by a third.
Do you think they came over? Or did you just went stuff this?
Well, our attendance is peaked
Yeah.
after that, as you would expect. So I don't want to say that Scarlets winning the league convinced Ospreys fans to stop turning up. But, you know, correlation is not causation.
Nice.
But all I'm saying is we won the league. 3,000 Ospreys fans stopped turning up.
If that happened now, if 3,000 Ospreys fans stopped turning up now, there'd just be a referee and 2 touch judges, and that'll be it, wouldn't it? It'd be insane. We can say that it's a Scarlets pod. Fuck 'em. So that's a thread with all sorts of interesting facts and figures. And how many people are you going to annoy with this one? Is it just
I'm going to try not to give too many opinions in this one and mostly keep it about facts, so that if people don't like what I'm saying, it means they just don't like facts, rather than the last one where I dared to give an opinion and people didn't like it.
Who? That doesn't sound right.
This is Welsh rugby, mate. Whether it's a fact or an opinion doesn't matter. It's going to wind somebody up.
Well, it's funny, you know, when I go on other podcasts, like podcasts that my Irish friends have or something else, and they ask me like, "What's the feeling in Wales?" and I can go, "Well, I can tell you how I feel about it," but you get, if you ask a different Wales fan, you'd get 2.999 million different other opinions that would have no resemblance to mine. So that's just how it goes.
But it's always been that way. It's always been that. You can stand on the sideline and watch a game, and you know everybody will have a different opinion about who's playing well and who's not, and who's.
I think if you surveyed the stadium, I think you wouldn't get one answer of what colour Wales play in.
Well, actually, you wouldn't get that answer at Scarlet Stadium, because what colour do the Scarlets play in? And some of that, yeah, some will say scarlet and some will say red, and yeah.
But when Castor's latest kit came out, I checked the Dulux colour chart, and we are the Llanelli Cardinals.
Playing cardinal red. Okay, that's a whole other thread waiting to go off, mate. What color shirts do people play in according to the Dulux color charts? I think that'll be quite interesting, to be honest. It would certainly ruffle a few feathers somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. Let's move on to listeners' questions then. So Hugh, what have we got in? We've kind of narrowed listeners' questions down this week. So what have we got in listeners' questions? And then I'll do 3-word thoughts after we've done.
Oh, we are doing 3-word thoughts.
Yeah, okay. I forgot about it early when we were talking, because I was focused on other things like food. So yeah. Go on, you do listeners'
Okay.
questions.
Okay, so first one is to Martin, and someone wants to know what is going on with the Scarlets scrum, and is Kamesley Matthias being found out?
Ooh.
What's going on with the Scarlets scrum? Stopping and changing for starters, that never helps. I mean, I don't understand why Jack Price was omitted from the 23 totally after he put in a good performance. Moving Fafita into the second row with Alex Craig, he's going to lose a bit of weight. We know he's going to lose a little bit. It's just our bulk. It's our support that comes behind. We know that. Harry O'Connor coming in should have stabilised that, same as Elias. But with Kempsey Matthias, I mean, we spoke about it prior. You could clearly see during that game, he was coping fine in the loose, but he was struggling massively at scrum time. And just as his top raises up a little bit, you can see strapping on his lower back. So I don't understand why Dwayne Beale would ever risk a prop with strapping on his lower back. You know, we had Stefan Thomas who came on, did brilliant, awesome.
Yeah.
We got Wyn Jones, you know, he's capable of covering, and we still had Sam Wainwright. So we had 4 fit props. Why are we risking Kempsey Matthias when we know how good he can be? I wouldn't say it's a case of him being found out. It's a case of I think he's had a niggle and he hasn't been able to get over it. Last week against Cardiff, I know a lot of people, including myself, pinged Litterick for some of the issues. Rewatching them, I put Carey down for a few with them because he was wheeling. Litterick did flop on the floor a few times, I will admit that. But the majority of the Cardiff faults at those scrums were Carey, not Litterick. So I would just like to stick that out there. This game,
I thought the scrum was fine in this game.
Oh, it was struggling. You could see they had the edge over Matthias, and you know Harry O'Connor.
Matthias when
his,
Steff came on, it was okay.
Yeah, no, Harry O'Connor was working his ass off, and there was it wasn't an exchange between them, but there was a look between Matthias and O'Connor, as though O'Connor was like pissed off, like no, like but you are messed up, get off the pitch. You could just see that look in his face. So I think there's nothing wrong with our scrum. I know me and you who spoke about this. There is nothing wrong with our scrum. It's just we need 3 fully fit front rowers on that pitch. We need them supported properly at lock with equal distribution of weight.
Yeah. People were saying about the Lion scrum. Lion scrum's really good. Their thing is their set piece. So if you're getting parity with the Lions, you're doing okay. With 88% scrum completion, can't complain. They didn't have 100% either.
The thing I liked about our scrum on the weekend was when we noticed that we were struggling, we changed what we were doing. So we went from a traditional scrum to you remember we used to do an old route 1 with a ball used to come in between the flanker and the number 8. Second row used to split his feet and it used to go straight between there. So we started doing that, and the ball was in and out 2 seconds, gone. You know,
the commentator picked up on that, didn't he? He said, I can't remember what the Welsh words were, but he said, they've just said to each other in Welsh, in and out. Yeah.
And this was, I think I made this point in South Africa, that we knew things were not going right and we didn't have an answer for them. We didn't have anybody going, right, okay, we're going to change this now. We were waiting for messages to come on the pitch and say, right, you need to change this and you need to do this. And you could see that they went, right, okay, because you can see that the angle of the flanker changes and the foot position of the second row changes slightly, because you know you're not going to be in that scrum for a long time. You literally need to go in and you make that contact. As soon as that contact is made, ball in, ball out, gone. And I was quite impressed with that, because we made a conscious decision that, you know, this we can play a different type of game. Why we don't do that quick ball more often is beyond me. It just makes so much sense for us to do it. But there we go.
Okay. If I can make one more point about our scrum, Wyn Jones is covering both sides of the scrum at the minute. And I don't know if anyone picked up, but the first scrum that Wyn Jones went into, we won a penalty. But if you watch it, the first thing Wyn Jones does is bind on the loose head's arm and then drops to his knee. and somehow the loose head got pinged for hindering. I have no idea how. I don't know if that was the only scrum he was involved in, but you know, it's a good success record, but it was just poor technique. I mean, he literally he grabbed onto his shoulder to bind, and then as they hit it, he wrapped it on the arm.
Mart's being all nice. I've seen the things he said about Chris Busby in the group chat.
Oh, you haven't heard what I got to say about Busby and his blocking for the Lions?
Oh, crikey. Okay. Next question, Hugh. Quick.
So one of the big talking points of the game is Ioan Lloyd. So Osprey's Ivory pod comes in with Ioan Lloyd is clearly brilliant, but with him at 10, the game management is struggling and it's costing us games. What's the solution? I would firstly say I wouldn't say that Ioan Lloyd has cost us a game so far. I would say that maybe game management isn't great, but they said on Scrum 5 that if Wales played a tennis match tomorrow, then Ioan Lloyd would be the number 10. Thoughts?
Go on, Mike, you go first on this one. Okay, that works really well on YouTube, Mark. Not necessarily on the podcast on that one, mate.
Oh, I think it just goes to show the lack of depth that we really have at 10 at the minute. You know, Cardiff haven't even got a Welsh 10. You know, it's Cardiff.
Yeah, they've got Ben Williams, who they're not playing at 10. Put him at 12.
Ben Williams?
Thomas, sorry.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
No, but
he's not a 10.
He's not at 12.
No. Anyway.
Is he?
No, well, there's not many options. You know, someone would have probably argued Angus O'Brien a few weeks ago, but he's not. He's out now. I mean, he shouldn't have been in contention. He's a great squad player, but nowhere near that level in my eyes. I think he is the only option at the minute, Ioan Lloyd. I mean, I haven't really been following the English Prem to see if we got anyone there.
Let's not do a Wales debate. Let's talk about Ioan Lloyd at 10. So obviously, after the Stormers game, I gave him a fair bit of stick for his performance, and he has, in most of the games he's played since then, he's gotten better each time. So I think this was comfortably his best game for us.
Yeah.
So 27 passes, which is a huge step up on his numbers from the first 3 games. It's like double he's managed in any game so far. Plus 2 offloads, 9 carries, which, okay, but he wasn't just like carrying like a centre, he was carrying because something was on. 10 defenders beaten. He made 10 out of 11 tackles as well, and I gave him stick about his tackling, and in the last 2 games he's really turned that around. So I'm happy about that. But it's only 3 kicks from hands.
And this is
not enough.
No, this is the bit that kind of it's ironic that you, as a Welsh rugby supporter, we spend most of our time going, stop kicking it, don't kick it, run the bloody ball. And now you're in that situation we're going, okay, we've gone too far the other way. And that's the game management and the decision side of it that I think may well come over time. You know, look, let's not forget we're 4 games in, 2 of them were in South Africa. Pre-season wasn't a pre-season. We're effectively still in pre-season, you know. What is good is he's playing with the same centres outside him, so he's starting to develop an understanding, and they're starting to develop an understanding about him. And he's shown when he's in trouble, you know, he can step and he can step again and he can flick and he can go round people. He's not afraid of contact. You know, some 10s are afraid of contact in case it ruins their hair and makeup. You know, he's not that kind of player. He's perfectly comfortable getting involved and getting in the rough bits, which sometimes is to his detriment. You know, sometimes you need him to sit back, do what Dinky Jones does. You know, Dinky Jones is probably the other side of the spectrum, where he kicks it too much and he plays for position too much, where we should be, you know, letting the centres have a go. So, yeah, it's frustrating at the minute, but I think it will come with time. We've seen he can kick. You know, he kicks off a tee, so there's no reason why he can't kick out of hand. It's just having that presence, that forethought to go, right, okay, this one's going in the corner. And once we start getting that, I think that's when we'll really start to click on that one.
I would say he's coming along nicely for us when you consider he is essentially learning how to be a 10 at the moment.
Yeah.
Having been bounced around positions at Bristol, I wouldn't be comfortable putting him in a Wales jersey probably at this season, to be honest. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that. I'd say keep him at the Scarlets, keep him playing, getting good 70 minutes a game for us in the 10 jersey, and let him come along. And like you said, Lee, let him build a relationship with Eddie and Joe. And I think Gareth Davis is really helping take on a lot of the game management for him while Gareth Davis is on the pitch as well.
Yeah, and I think that's the way it's going to have to be, because he hasn't got anyone else there to learn from at the minute. You know, there's nobody there going, I've played 10 for 5 years. They're all bloody injured or playing in New Zealand. You know.
Well, I was thinking about that because we've got, if you look at our coaches, we've got a scrum half as head coach. We've got Jared Payne, who was a centre / fullback, I believe.
Yeah.
And then everyone else in the coaching ticket, I think, was a forward.
That's because forwards are more intelligent. I'm right, aren't I, Mark?
100%.
Absolutely. See, and prettier.
So who's giving Johan that tutor, like you say? It's not like we've got I don't know. It's not like he's got Owen Williams to learn off. Oh, maybe Owen Williams isn't the best example. It's not like he's got.
I'm pretty sure Peel has got Steve O on speed dial. You can just call up for a few notes.
He probably does. He's down in Moana now. He's living his best life.
Yeah. But you have got Scott Williams there, who, you know, of all the people that have played inside centre, you've got Foxy there, who has played inside centre. Foxy played 10 a couple of times, didn't he? He filled in at 10.
Hadley did.
No.
Hadley Parks did, and I'm sure Foxy did once. Anyway,
maybe an emergency. I can't remember.
I remember him going in there for a period, but
for one carry.
Yeah. But do you know what I mean? There are players there that can kind of give up. I think it's more a case of he's trying. So he's in the back of his head is going to be Costello's coming back at some point. You know, at some point in the future, that injury comes back, and I've got between now and then to stamp my authority on, I want this shirt. And I almost think he's trying too hard. You know, he's almost kind of going, every time he's got the ball, he's got to do something. He's got to create something. He's got to make a break, you know. And I think that might be a bit where he can go, okay, you've got 2 or 3 months now before Costello comes back. So calm it down, stick it in the corners, change the game up, a dink over the top. Let's put the ball in the air. Do you know what I mean? Let's vary the game. And I think that will take a lot of pressure off him, and might give him a bit of extra space to run into. Because when he starts stepping, well, you know, the guy's electric when he's stepping. So, yeah. Why they haven't got Here Comes a Hot Stepper on the old sound system, you know, the missing.
Because if you start calling a player in Wales Hot Stepper, his ankles immediately turn to glass.
Yeah, and he gets stuck. Have we got any more listeners' questions, Hugh?
No more listeners' questions.
Okay. So I'm going to quickly run down the 3-word thoughts. Now,
Can I just quickly interject on 3 words?
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks ago, the Dragons did a 3 words thing. They sum up Rodri Williams in 3 words.
Yeah, I told you.
It's this rugby club plays in the East, Mart. Anyway. So, and not one of the Dragons players managed to achieve 3 words. Some of them went long hair, top bloke, scrum half, and like, that's literally 6 words. You're literally 100% out of the specification here, guys. And I kind of like messaged Harley. I was like, maybe the Dragons boys can't count. In this week, the video the Dragons put out was name your number 1 bucket list item. and none of them kept it to one. And they were all like, I want to go bungee jumping, I want to go to space, I want to do this. Like, so here's my question for the rest of the week for all of our listeners to ponder on. Can the dragons count?
Their issue is they've all got 11 fingers, and that's so when they count to 10, they get confused. That's what
I don't think that's it. I think they're so used to losing, they just don't bother anymore.
Yeah. They got that's how they project the mentality. It's like, don't look at the scoreboard, lads. Just don't. Or maybe they've gone to like all of our old players and they've gone, how old are you? And they've gone, I'm 38. And they've gone, oh, right, so just a teenager then. Great. Sign on the line.
Yeah. Okay, let me do our 3 words then. So so Hugh says sloppiness from Steff. Dave says poor game
plan. That wasn't me. That was a different Hugh.
Sorry, yeah, Hugh W. Lee Rowland, very long season. James, Christmas came early with a flag. You know, whether we allow emojis in there, you know. So Brian says manage game better. So Brian used to be one of us. So hello, Brian. Glad you're listening. James says we enjoy losing. I think we enjoy losing. I think we're struggling there. Wayne says kick it out. And then Phil says threw it away. Well, if he'd have thrown it away and somebody else had kicked it out, we wouldn't have had the issue. That wouldn't have been a problem. And then why kick it? Because it needed to go out. It was the wrong kick. And then West is woeful, which comes from Owain, who I think is taking the piss a bit, to be honest. But yeah, there we go. So that was there were some others on Twitter as well.
Oh no, Martin's gone.
Oh, fuck! Was it that bad? Blimey. Anyway, while Martin's not here, let's discuss 2 things. Let's discuss the game and Martin's hair. And then when he comes back in, we'll be halfway through discussing whether he's got a little girly hair thing to keep his hair in place.
His girly headband is very nice.
It is actually. I'm just jealous that he's got that much hair to justify having a big girly hairband. In all honesty, so let's let's tackle the game. So we're gonna focus on a lot of it on Steff Evans, yeah, but there are 14 other, well, there are 22 other players there, and a whole coaching team and all of that kind of stuff. So go on, you've been dying to get this off your chest since about 5 o'clock.
I'm gonna be nice first. Because I want to be. So the reason this game hurt so bad. So I do my instant reactions. I put them out on Twitter and on the Rap YouTube channel as well. Scarlets Fever, most watched podcast on the Rap YouTube channel. The reason it hurt so much is because we should have won, and it's our best performance in a good old while, and that's why it really stung. And my instant reaction, normally I just press record, do it, stick it up, and that's an instant reaction. It's the first one I've ever done where I did 2 takes and binged them and did another one because I didn't want to put out the kind of content that were constituted the first 2 takes. The pack, particularly in this game, were absolutely excellent. If I start with Ryan Elias, so 40. By the way, I tweeted Ryan Elias's stats on Sunday and it got a bit of traction. And then today, the Scarlets have done a tweet saying, here's Ryan Elias's stats for the game. People don't think I see them. People don't think I can see them.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ryan Elias, according to Rugby Pass, 14 carries, 10 out of 11 tackles, 59 meters. Do people understand how mad 59 meters for a hooker is?
Yeah, for a hooker is
ridiculous.
Awesome.
Tell you who else made 59 meters in the game? Johnny McNichol. He's a fullback.
Yeah.
Crazy. 10 tackles, 3 of which were dominant, which is the top over either side. 5 defenders beaten. And like I said, 92 line out percentage, which translates to only 1 actual line out.
No.
One actual line out loss, which I think was a miscommunication with the lifters rather than him. And then the scrum went decent with him on the pitch as well. So I think Ryan Elias in that game said, "No, I am Wales' #1 hooker."
Yeah, definitely.
And that was an unbelievable performance, a performance not befitting of being on the losing team. If I just go through some of the other performers, Alex Craig, 20 out of 21 tackles made. Superb. Didn't make a ton of meters, but 1-2 turnovers as well. But Fisa had a slightly quiet game. I think when he moves back to #8, which I expect he will when Lousy is back, obviously, I think we'll see a bit more for Fisa, but he still created the chance for Tom Rogers' try. Plumtree. So Plumtree was fucked about 20 minutes into this game. Something had happened to his shoulder. And he played the rest of the game. Oh, we got Mark back.
Yeah. Actually, you've only just noticed that.
I've been celebrating. I've been doing everything. I mean, I did hear you swear, so I'm sorry
I'm
that
sorry.
I did that. I'm so disheartened.
He hasn't started yet.
So Plumtree played with this game with one arm, and he was amazing with one arm. His stats don't necessarily say it too much, but 11 tackles, 2 of which were dominant.
But his turnover under the posts, they were attacking, they were right under the posts, and he turned the ball over, and just fantastic. It's brilliant.
Yes, but he was part of the reason why they were in that position in the first place.
He turned the ball over. Yeah, but he turned the ball over under the posts, and if he's made an error, then he's rectified it in majestic style.
He's very quickly turning into my favourite player. I think that the Wales #6 jersey is his to lose. Plumtree. Yeah, the way that he knew he was injured and he was holding his arm, he was like, I'm done here. But then he was like, I ain't going off. So he just was like, well, I'm playing with one arm then. And then he did. And there was one part in the second half where he like picked a Lions player up off the floor and dragged him back with one arm. And I don't know if you know, the South Africans aren't light. So I love that. Tuipulotu still isn't really getting the meters I would like him to get, but I think he had a good game. 2 defenders beaten.
Hold on. He had a great game. Every single time.
Good game.
Every single time he went past the point of contact, he beat more than 2 defenders. I know that for a fact. I was watching him very closely. Every single carry he had, he didn't go backwards. He always pumped forward. He had one good break. I know that for sure. And I'll be honest, he had a really good game. Not like, not man of the match material, obviously. But if he had those performances week in, week out, I would be very happy.
I think when Sam Lousy is back, I think Tuipulotu will lose his place to Fafita. But if he's coming off the bench, having said that, Ben Williams made a great impact off the bench. He had one carry where there was Lions players hanging off him. And then Leatherbarrow as well. So Leatherbarrow, 18 out of 18 tackles. I'll tell you what, when Josh McLeod and Dan Davies got injured, they must have thought, it's all right. It's just this uni kid is going to take our spot, and he's about 6 stone wet through. He'll be fine. He's been incredible in these last 2 games, yellow card aside against Cardiff. Like that now, our club captain, Josh McLeod, is going to be thinking, hang on, am I going to get back in the team here? 1 turnover as well. 10 meters made. His game really wasn't about carrying. His turnover was a good one, though.
Yeah, his game is all about shooting out in defence and cutting that line off dead. He does that so often, and it's brilliant.
Just generally, our carrying was much better in this game as well. So I blasted us for down in South Africa what our carry meters per carry was, but in this game it was 3.25 meters post contact, which is fantastic. So. And then obviously Eddie James and Joe Roberts again showed that they are a centre partnership that just works. I heard Rian Lowe, who's a South African content creator, message me and saying, this Eddie James guy, you've got a player on your hands here. So, that's why I was so upset that we lost the game, because I think there was the whole pack and the centres and Johan Lloyd, to be fair, all had excellent games, and I would say that is the best performance by any Welsh team so far this season.
I mean,
we've lost the game by a point.
I agree totally. Like, there's only 2 players I've put in my, not great performances. One is Matthias because he was injured, and the other is, I think, the most common denominator. If anyone picks out the worst performing Scarlet in this team. So yeah,
well,
30 players were brilliant.
So I'm just going to go through, the players that I picked out as well, and it's very similar to what you've got. I thought Elias was just outstanding. His meters beyond contact was just superb.
Insane.
And we've been quite critical of him in the past with his line out accuracy has been quite iffy. He does a lot of the grunt work, but doesn't necessarily do a lot of it going forward. He was absolutely, stand behind me, boys, because I'm going to show you how to do it on Saturday. And that's what you need. That's what you need from him, which was good.
We've seen the international boys have come back in and they've really lifted us, and they've shown as well that they can play 80 minutes as well. So we can see that difference in conditioning between the internationals and the club players. Of the internationals can play 80 minutes at this level.
Yeah. The bit I was going to pick up on was Tuipulotu. Was he out of position for their try? It's hard to say. Go on, Mark.
This is what I mentioned earlier. If you watch the few seconds coming into that score, you see Tuipulotu running around, and you've got Harry O'Connor right behind him, and Busby blocks Harry O'Connor from moving. Whether or not he would have been in position to cover the gate on that side of the ruck is a different question, but something to be considered. Would he have been in position? It was there's more than one issue. Like there were a few mistakes from Carwin. I'm not going to pretend he had a perfect performance. I've already given my approval of this game.
Yeah, and I do too. I thought on the whole he had a good game, and he's starting to. Each game he's making small steps forward. Definitely in attack. He is. He's not setting the world alight, which you kind of hope he will at some point. He's going to do stuff at some point. He needs to have a big game that he can look back on and go, this is what I did. But he's rock solid, and he's still only young for a number 8. He's still quite young. The bit that impressed me with Fafita, I thought Fafita was awesome. I thought, he did so much stuff that you don't see. There was one
second rows are so hard to watch and judge, and it never comes up in the stats. He's our main line-out second.
Alex
was good in
Craig,
line-out as well.
Yeah.
I've mentioned him.
You were
20
off
out of
doing
21 tackles.
Yeah, you were doing your hair or something then. But yeah, I mean that Alex Craig, we were unsure of him when he was coming in, injuries, this, that, and the others. Really stepped up to the plate now and is setting the mark, I reckon. And yeah, when Lousy comes back, it does. Okay, what you do with Fafita? Does he go to number 8 and all that kind of stuff? It gives you a really good option to have in the pack. Whereas last season it was pretty much, Calamafoni's 8, Fafita and Lousy are 4 and 5. And if
that was always a compromise, though, wasn't it?
But that's what I mean. There was never really that. Who's challenging for 4 and 5, who's challenging for 8. Whereas now you've got players challenging, and I think that's the difference now. They may not be, world-class players just yet, but they're getting there, and I think that's the bit that impressed me. The bit I was impressed with Fafita was he popped up at outside centre. We were running the ball from our own half. He popped up at outside centre, adds pace to the line, fingertip ball, it comes in, draws a man and gives, and you're just sitting there and go like, if you didn't see a number 4 on his back, you wouldn't know that he was playing second row. Do you know what I mean? Or 5, whichever one he was, I can't remember. But he absolutely looked the part at outside centre. There aren't many second rows or back row players that can do that, and they just fit into a back line, add pace to a back line. So yeah, I thought Fafita was outstanding again. I think he's working really well with Plumtree, and then you've got centres which were superb. Which kind of brings us to Steff Evans and the kick and decision making. For me, it's about decision making. It's like some of the stuff that he's had has been a bit over the top. The guy knows he made a mistake, and he knows his side had paid for it. Trust me, when you sit in the changing rooms, when you've done something like that, you feel that in a big way, especially that late in the game where you've not got a chance to rectify, what you've done after. So, yeah, he would have felt that in a big, big way. And I think some of the criticism of him, yes, it was a crap kick. It was a really, really shit kick. He had a player inside him who was in a better position to take that kick, and he should have passed. A lot of his kicking through that game was poor. He kept hitting it up at outside half, which Johan Lloyd keeps getting caught at the bottom of a ruck. And then Steff is filling in, which is obviously a tactic. And then he's trying to kick for the corner and then cocking up the kick. His kicking isn't accurate enough to do that.
So bad.
Yeah.
Like we talked about, like, oh, is he an option at fullback? And like that, how crazy does that look now? Like there was foreshadowing. So I'll just go through it. There's foreshadowing the first half where we went wide and Steff was on the outside channel because he's a winger. And it was on to Grubber. And it's something that I noticed us as a team is we don't Grubber, and Joe and Eddie need to add it to their games as well, that we need to Grubber kick more. And he should have grubbered, and instead he just dinks it up in the air, and it's the easiest catch you've ever seen for the fullback. And it was like, what was that? Like, this is what I'm saying.
When you're on about, he was like 7 meters in, he had about 15 meters of space in front of him, and he just boots it.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. Steff is not a kid. He's played at this level for long enough, and he's a winger. He's always been a back three player. How do you not know how to do it properly? And then, so I went back this evening and I watched the last 10 minutes of the game, and I've got notes on it. So let me just read you through it. So on 71 minutes, we had a line out in our own half, and we broke downfield. Ryan Elias with a huge carry, and then it went wide. Steff Evans gets it on the halfway line and boots it. That kick should have gone to touch. It should have bounced a couple of times and trickled into touch in their 22. That's what the right thing to do was. Whether he's whether he's made the wrong decision or he's just badly executed, the kick arcs infield towards their fullback. He fields it. They go into a breakdown, and then off it, because all of our back line is at the bottom of that ruck that's just been created, they dink it over the top, and the 10 gets it, breaks downfield, and then Tom's pinged for holding on, and that's 3 points. So that's come from Steff's mistake. It's actually a little bit funny in hindsight. It cuts the camera to Dwayne Peel in the stands now, and you can see he's absolutely crapping himself. He's like, oh no.
Again.
He can see what's happening. So it's only 5 minutes. It was that huge Ben Williams carry where he's got players hanging off him. And the Scarlets get down into the Lions 22. Steff Evans gets the ball and carries and gets turned over because he's on his own. So this is the thing that I always say about Steff is if you look at his number of defenders beaten, it's always high. And then if you look at his number of line breaks, it's always low. So he's always trying to like beat a man and then beat him again and then beat him again. So he gets turned over. I will say that Busby, like Steff Evans gets turned over clean. They just rip the ball off him and play. Busby gives advantage to the Lions, even though it was a clean turnover. So I'm not sure what that was about. And the Lions run it under advantage. So that's off Steff being turned over. It goes a few phases. We stop them. And then the Lions 10 kicks it over. And it was a terrible kick from the Lions. It was awful. It wasn't testing the touchline. It wasn't testing any of the wingers. Steff fields it, bags of time, bags of space. And then we know what happens. And then we lose the game. So in the last 10 minutes, Steff has made 3 mistakes that have led, 2 of which have led to line breaks for the Lions, and one of them's led to a try. That's what I'm saying. And, this is why I said in our player squad review that Steff, when he's on the pitch, he doesn't do the technical right thing ever. And at times it creates a try for us and he scores a try. A lot of the time, his teammates don't know what he's going to do. So the rucks that he's at the bottom of don't get staffed properly because he's done something a bit weird. And like I said, his kicking is just, it's not just this game. That's why I feel so annoyed about it, is because I'm not seeing it as just he's been charged down. Like if it was any other Scarlets player who got charged down for that kick, I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, but I feel really bad for you. But it feels different for me with Steff because this is not his first rodeo.
I wasn't picking up that you were angry about this. I don't know about you, Mart. I don't know if that was coming through.
Yeah.
Thank you for clearing that up.
You could feel the tension. You could just see the look on his face.
Yeah.
It's like Steff. He's an enigmatic player. And when you're on the front foot, he's brilliant to have. But tight games that, we're struggling to win, we're struggling to get over the line, he's not a player you want in that 15.
It was always going to be a tight game against the Lions as well. The Lions lost their first game against the Stormers by 2 points. They lost to Edinburgh by 1 point, and they lost to Benetton by 5. Go on. What are you saying, Matt?
5.
Oh, he's gone 5.
Yeah. They lost to Benetton by 5, and Benetton going to be at the thick of it this season. So and I said in the preview, I thought the Scarlets were going to win it by 2. It was always going to be tight. It was always going to come down to the last 5 minutes.
So do you think, so 2 things on Steff Evans, he's definitely kicking more this season. Yeah. Do you think that that's come from coaching, with them saying be more controlled and stop running at people and giving turnovers, or do you think he's lost a little bit of confidence and a little bit of pace and he's like, yeah, I haven't got the speed to get through there now, so I'm going to hoof it or whatever? Because he's definitely kicking more. Like I say, when he turns up at outside half, you just usually expect him to run at slow forwards and go round them, which he usually does and creates a bit of space. So yeah, is it, I can't work out whether it's come from above and he's not really, he doesn't want to kick, he doesn't, he's not executing it properly, or is it because he's lost a bit of confidence and, I'm just going to hoof it away anyway?
Bit of both, maybe.
I think probably the fact that we've got a 10 who finds himself at the bottom of rocks a lot probably doesn't help. I don't know if if Dwayne's gone, all right, the 10's going to be at the bottom of the rocks a lot, and he's looked around the changing room and gone, who can step in at 10? I'm not sure how he's landed on Steff. In a funny way, I'm wondering if it's making me question J-Mac a little bit. Would I have expected Johnny McNichol to have stepped up a little bit more in these last few games, considering he is now an elder statesman of the squad? So I don't know, but that's a question for another week, I suppose. But Steff kicked 5 times in this game, and Johan kicked 3 times. So that's an issue.
That's one. So the other question then is, where's Combia? Because he's not injured. Yeah. He's not playing down. Anyway. So where's Combia? And I don't know. Have we seen him this season?
Yeah,
he played in the first game.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah. I
don't know whether Dwayne has seen something, or the coaches have seen something in the analysis for the Bulls game and think that Combia has done something heinous in those games that perhaps we haven't seen, and then these dropped off the back of that, because we know that coaches do that. I don't know. For me, if you gave me the choice, I'd have Combia on one wing and Tom Rogers on the other every day of the week.
Well, we said at the start of the season that Tom Rogers was a player that we wanted to, prove himself, and I think he has. But similarly, Tommy Lewis, so Mark, you're a big fan. We're just not seeing him.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of Tommy. Like, watching him for Jersey last season was brilliant. I mean, he was running in tries for fun, and he's shown flashes of that with the Drovers in the Premiership. But from 15, which is where I'm getting a little bit of fear of whether or not we're going to see him in Scarlet colours. Is he playing at 15 with Llandovery because that's where the Scarlets see him? They see him as their 15 option, in which case I can't see him getting much game time here. If they see him as a wing option, I would like to get him in. I do want to see this boy weighted Scarlet on that pitch. And if Combier is down the pecking order for whatever reason after this last week, I can't see a reason why he shouldn't be in there.
Okie dokie. Well, let's park last weekend's game. What I will say very, very briefly on last weekend's game. So we've been messing around with let's get the drums in there and let's get a bit of a thing. And I definitely heard drums. Heard drums. And so I quite like the idea that the drums are in there, but we need a bit of practice. If we're going to put drums in there, we need a bit of practice, and we need to, because it felt a little bit random and a little bit like, and no real kind of like, Scarlets. You've got to have a little bit of rhythm. You got to let people know what's happening, and you've got to be a bit ballsy, and you've got to stand there and you've got to go doing it. So there's that. So carry on with the drums. Just a little bit more practice. If you want to come on here, whoever the guy was with the drums, nobody else in the Scarlets area is talking about let's have drums. Only us talking about let's have drums. Yeah. So if you want to come on and we'll do some practice, more than happy with that. And we can get some social media going about this is how we do the drums. And when I do this, dum, dum, de, dum, dum, Scarlets, we'll do all of that. Yeah. We can do that on there. So the other bit was somebody on social media was complaining about kids being at the game. Yeah. So they were complaining about the drum, but then they were complaining about kids being at the game. And I'm like, a little bit of me wanted to turn around and go, fuck off, pal. Because you're complaining about kids being at the game. I just, no, we need more kids at the game. Give the kids the drums. Give the kids a drum. I can guarantee the opposition will be more irritated than our boys will. Let the kids. Do you know what? Let the kids have the first 2 rows everywhere, and just let them scream their heads off for an hour. Because it does 2 things. One, it gives you a little bit of atmosphere, and 2, they're really tired when they go home. And any parent will take that every day of the week. You go, yeah, thank you very much. We're going there every week. So. Yeah. Seriously, if you're annoyed that there are kids at the game shouting because you want to watch the game in peace and quiet, go home and put it on mute, fella. Honest to God. Right.
Yeah. Stay away from me, you've been for them.
Well, that's one of the great things about rugby is, and I noticed while we were at the park was one of the main reasons why you get so many women at rugby games compared to football games is mums taking the kids. Yeah. Which it's not the only reason, obviously, but that's one of the nice things about it. So yeah, I'd say give the kids the drums. Imagine if the Ospreys banned kids, they wouldn't have anyone in the stands.
No, if they weren't allowed to give out free tickets, there'd be nobody.
School children, nobody there.
Blimey. So yeah, more drums, just a bit more rehearsal, and I'm volunteering time on the pod for drum rehearsal. I got no problems with that at all.
Whomever you are.
Whomever it is, I can guarantee somebody somewhere is looking at us going, it's you lot, isn't it? It's you lot. You lot started talking about it. I'm coming for you.
I wonder what drum it was.
I don't know. It's hard to say. It sounded like one of those marching drums. It didn't sound like a big bass drum. It sounded like one of the I don't know what they call, but the little.
Do you know when we see the videos on the socials after games with the man of the match doing the Saucepan Var? It sounded a bit like that one.
No.
Do you know something that we don't, Mark?
I don't know anything.
Look at that little smile. Look at that little smile in his face. He's going like, I know something.
Oh, I got a numb bum. That's a numb bum smile.
That's what it is. All right, let's talk about the Leinster game because, wow. This is going to be a tough one. A real tough one. But, I don't think we're gonna let ourselves down. I think we're improving game after game after game, and I think this will be a lot closer than where most people think it will be. And I think, they've got a lot of international players coming back and all of that kind of stuff. We've got a pretty settled side. I don't think we've got anybody else to come back into that side. So we're pretty settled. So, I'm not saying we're going to win, but I think we're going to do a lot better than most people give us credit for.
Yeah. I mean, my personal feeling is going away to Leinster, it's an hard enough job as it is. You know, I say we use it to basically practice more than anything. We've got quite a few big matches coming up after this. I say we focus on what we want to see.
We're losing you a bit there, Mark.
Oh, he's breaking up.
Yeah, it's the thought of playing Leinster is destroying the Wi-Fi.
Like obviously,
put
some new things in, like you said, Johan Lloyd.
I don't know what that was, Mark, but it sounded funny, and your internet was all over the shop there, mate. So
basically, it was one of my kids popping his head out and being shouted to get back in. But it wasn't me shouting, so it's okay. I just want to see us use this Leinster game as a proper building block, as a stepping stone to really go into these Welsh derbies and into Europe with some real oomph, with knowing. We obviously we saw this week we were trying things, 2 phases going wide, filling behind dummy runners, not exactly accurate, but we were trying things, and it was good to see. I'd like to see a lot more variation of that and working out what we can do well in this game, because Leinster got a very well drilled defence. If we can get any sort of success, even if it's only 2-3 meters, it'd be good to go forward knowing, okay, this works, that doesn't. Let's use this for these next 2 games.
What are you expecting from Leinster?
Leinster are really good. And at their place, I mean, last season, it was last season, was it? We took 50. We took over 50.
Yeah, their man Munster. Yeah.
Yeah, and Ulster as well. I think we took 50 off as well.
Yeah,
55, 30 something. We were winning like
65,
65 minutes. I remember right.
So yeah, I'd like to come out of it with our heads held high, and I think I would make as few changes as possible from this team. I'm going to be saying this after every match because I want to see us get a settled 15 out. Be interested to see if Plumtree is fit to play in this one or not. But yeah, if there's any time, Johan, to learn how to kick from hand, it's now. between now and the weekend. So Johan so far in the league has 4 consecutive starts. He's kicked 625 meters, which is not very far. Like when you had Sam Lana on Rav, he was talking about kick meters being a really important stat because it tells us where you're playing. So just as a point of reference, Indus De Beer, who has played as many minutes as Johan, or very very similar amount of minutes to Johan, has kicked nearly twice as much in terms of meters. Now Cardiff are playing 10-man rugby at the moment, but they have been in pretty much every game that they've played. So
they weren't in our game.
Tinas has kicked 1,146. So Herbert has kicked nearly twice as much, which Herbert has kicked, hang on, I've got it here, 662.4 Matthew Morgans.
How many blue whales has Johan Lloyd?
No, blue whales was last week.
No, I think
we're measuring Matthew Morgans this week.
Oh, I was looking forward to measuring in blue whales. You couldn't get much more different, could you? Matthew Morgans and blue whales. So
he's kicked about 42 and a half blue whales.
There you go. See, he didn't even need a calculator to do it, mate. You can just do it in his head.
Particularly big blue whale.
Right, let's move on then to a couple of score predictions for the Leinster game. So you both actually winced at the same time there. You both kind of went, ooh, like that at the same time. So
is it going to rain? Is it raining? I hope it rains.
Well, there's meant to be a massive storm coming in. We're on Monday now, so Tuesday, Wednesday. So I don't know what the end of the week is like, and it's a Saturday game, isn't it? So it'll be probably if a storm has
Yeah.
gone through, then it'll be quiet. So it might be a calm day, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
great.
Saturday evening on S4C. Nice.
I'm out with a family meal. I'm gonna have to watch it on replay when I get back in.
Or take your phone and slide it under the table.
Nah, it's my niece's birthday, so
Not important then.
I don't think she listens to the pod, so I think I'm okay. But
And you can edit that out if you want.
no, stay in. So yeah, so score predictions. Let's wrap up with some score predictions. What are we saying for Leinster away Saturday night? Martin, give me some score predictions.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Why don't you start with me?
Pause.
I think we're going to keep them under 50. I think that's going to be a nice one. My actual score prediction, I think, is going to be 42-26 to Leinster. But
Okay.
you know what? I'm going to change up. I reckon we are going to win 28-21.
What the hell? How'd you go that?
Because I
Okay.
gotta say we're gonna win. I gotta that one's my head, the other's my heart.
Okay. So your heart is saying we're going to win 28.
21.
28-21. Okay, well, at least they get a losing bonus point that way. They'll be happy with that, won't they?
Yeah. It's at least it's all they deserve, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Hugh, your prediction.
Before I give you my prediction, can I just quickly say that the stat going around about all 4 Welsh regions losing at home on the same weekend is a bit of a nothing stat, because we rarely all play at home on the same weekend. It's only because we've got this new league structure that means that happens. And 2 of the regions were playing the Bulls and Leinster, and at least one of those will be in the final, in my opinion. And Cardiff, obviously, I haven't got a pot to piss in, and the Dragons are rubbish. And Ospreys bottled it because that's what they do, and we should have won. So, when you really think about it, we actually won all 4 games. But anyway, so for the Leinster game, do you know what? I'd be delighted if we kept it under 40. If we keep it under 40, I'll be like, well, yeah, that's a good performance, that is. Jesus.
I've gone to keep it under
38-22
50. You would go into 40. Jesus.
No, if we keep it under 50, I'll be fine. If we keep it under 40, I'll be cock-a-hoop. I'm going 38-22 to Leinster.
See, I think they put what 33 on the Dragons. They beat the Dragons by 20 points.
At Rodney.
What a game that was.
Yeah, but I still think, I don't know, I think they're a little bit, they are good, but sometimes you can look at that and go, oh, they're invincible and all this kind of stuff. And I think
and
they'll
have more
invincible.
weighted back this week.
Yeah, but I still think that there's opportunities there in that side to do something. So I'm not saying we're going to win, but I think if we can get amongst them early and rattle them,
coming on with points.
Yeah, you pissed again, Matt. I think
that's it. We've got to rattle them, haven't we? We've got to, in the first 20 minutes, we've got to get a couple of scores in the first 20 minutes. Otherwise, it's going to be a long
do what we done in the final against Munster. We've got to run them ragged straight away.
That's a good idea. We should just play the team from 2017. That'll be well better.
No, I reckon.
One step starting again.
We can, if we can get amongst them.
That final. We kind of got away with one there, didn't we?
Focus now, boys. Focus.
Oh, when we were good, Lee.
Oh, fucking hell. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna predict 25-15, something like that.
That's low.
Yeah, I think
you're deluded.
No, okay. I think if we can, like I say, as I was trying to say before you two started rabbiting on, but if we can get in amongst them and kind of disrupt them, annoy them, irritate them, yeah, I think we'll hold them for a lot longer than we give ourselves credit for, and it will build our confidence. As our confidence grows, we'll rattle them more, or we're gonna get fucking tonked from the kickoff, one or the other. So I'm gonna go with the other. Is what I'm gonna go with.
But which one's
see
the
it
other?
being one of those.
Go on.
What?
Which one's the
I
other?
was just-
We're either getting tonked from the kickoff, and it's going to be ridiculous, or we're going to compete. So I'm going to go with the one where we're competing, we're disrupting, we're doing all of that stuff. So
Well, as long
I
as
can
we
see
can
it being one of those
double check,
games.
I'll be happy.
go on, Hugh.
I can see it being one of those games where we're like pressing and we got possession in their half, possession in their half, possession in their half. They get a turnover, they run the other end and score. And that happens like 5 times. I can see it being one of them.
Well,
That's
gentlemen,
under 40.
As long as it's under 40, I don't care.
we will find out on Saturday night. We shall, we'll come back and do this again next week, and hopefully we'll be going into the Ospreys game after that, isn't it?
Yeah, the shit sprays.
Yeah. So, next week we should have something positive to go forward with. Something. Let's hope the Ospreys get absolutely shafted this weekend, and we do a lot better than expected, and we're back ready for the first big game of the season.
Who have they got? Who are they playing this weekend?
I should know. I just predicted
Doesn't
it.
matter.
Cardiff got Zebra. Oh, they got Dragons. So
If they lose that,
exactly, I can see them losing against the Dragons, and then they'll have like all the internationals back against us, and they won't know what to do. And then
right, let's do sod Leinster, right? Let's just start doing a 2-week hype for the derby, right? We can end their season.
Scarlets,
Right.
Scarlets,
If we go there and we beat them, their season is done. That's
When
it.
we
They're
go there,
finished.
when we beat them, the season's done.
Yeah. James, when James listens to this, mate, he's going to be all over you on Twitter, isn't he?
I'm a Scarlets fan. He's an Ospreys fan. This is what it's all about.
You're a
People
Scarlet
should buy and
fan,
say-
he's a plastic person.
Yeah. Right. Gents, we're going to have to wrap. We're going to have to wrap it up there.
We're fine.
Oh, will you two shut up? I want to go and have some tea.
You've had plenty of time for tea before we came on.
I had 10 minutes in between wrap and this one. So
Are you
I'm
cooking
sorry.
your tea in a kettle or in a slow cooker there tonight?
yeah, I've actually done the slow cooker thing again tonight. So
Amazing cup of tea in a slow
Bags
cooker.
in.
there's no cups of tea in the slow cooker. Be quiet, the pair of you. I'm hungry. I'll go and have some food. Bugger off. All right. Have a good time, gents. Enjoy your rugby. We shall catch up again. We'll do it all again next week. All the best, gents. Good night.
All the best. Try, boys.